Hi there, Dave here, that Foreign Bloke, and I'm in Gothenburg at the central station, and I'm going to take you for a little walk. If you watch my video, the latest video, you'll know that I came down for a business trip, and you'll have seen some of that in my vlog, but I thought I would also do a walk around video to show you a little bit of the city. So we'll make our way out from the central station and I'll show you some more. Now, this is the central station, and this hotel, the first hotel, is a hotel that I stay in quite often, or I used to stay in quite often when I was in Gothenburg, and I did actually try to book a room there, but unfortunately they were full. The old part of the station house is a bit hard to see from this side. I'll show you that tomorrow morning, which will be in the second part of this video, but that's the front of it. But we're going to go over the road here to the other side of the street, where there are a couple of hotels, but there is also the Nordstan shopping centre, and I'm going to go walk through the shopping centre and out the other side. And try not to get run over by cars, trams, etc. One thing that Gothenburg is famous for is its trams, but there aren't any here at the minute. But I will show you some of those a little bit further on, as we will be walking down past the tram tracks. But first we're going to go in here into Nordstan. And I shall show you a shop. Okay, so we are in the Nordstan shopping centre, and we're down at the bottom end. It goes up a long way that way, but I wanted to come to have a look at a shop just down here. This is the shop Saigon Food. It's actually an Asian supermarket and a restaurant, and I used to come here a lot and buy groceries, but I also used to come and eat sometimes. They do a very good Vietnamese pho, but I'm just going to come down and have a look in the supermarket, and then I'm going to carry on. Okay, I got what I came for, which was Thai chili paste. So back up to the main part of the shopping centre and I'll walk out. Yeah, all good. Got my Thai chili paste, Nampik Pao. Can't live without that, and I almost finished my jar. So I just got a little one to tide me over. Only 3 weeks till we leave, so I don't need too much, but it's nice to have some. Anyway, I'll walk a little bit through the shopping centre. It's all a bit, typical Swedish shops in a typical Swedish shopping centre, but if you've never seen it, it might be interesting. And then I'm going to be out onto the street again. This is Orleans. I walked past the big Orleans city in Stockholm when I did my Stockholm Walkabout a few weeks ago. Yeah, they're a big Swedish store. Here we come to a crossroads. There's a few of these. Down there's a few more shops, Burger King. But we're going to go up this way, out onto the street. Okay, this is Gatan. We go over the tram lines here. And we will follow the street down. This street eventually comes round the corner and becomes what's known as Avenyn, which is probably Gothenburg's most famous street, but we'll get there when we get there. But we'll walk along here, and you can see the trams a little bit. Not sure what's going on there, but there's a big queue of people waiting to get in. In fact, I don't even know what it is, but Must be something exciting. And over there's a lot of Ukrainian flags and Ukrainian music. It's probably some kind of march or protest against the war. And here comes a tram. Trying to not get run over by trams that come from all angles here. This, with the rotating clock, is Nordiska Kompaniet, which is another Swedish department store, a fancy one. They have a big main store in Stockholm. But it's not anywhere near where I went walking. Well, it's not far actually, but not where I went walking the last time I showed you. But yeah, Nordiska Kompaniet. It's a fancy shop department store. I really don't know whether this video will turn out to be much, just walking around Gothenburg in the dwindling light, but it's something to show you before we leave Sweden, so I thought I'd give it a bit of a whirl. This over here is called Irish Embassy now. It used to be called the Dubliner, and it's of course an Irish pub, which I have been to many times in my past life and drank many beers and watched many football matches in there, but these days that is a thing of the past. No beer drinking and what have you. And certainly not in Irish pubs in Gothenburg. But when I used to be out and about and travelling with work, I was often in this here town. That was a favourite haunt, I should say, port of call. Anyway, we are now approaching the Avenyn, which is the avenue, which runs all the way up the hill there towards that big building at the end, which I think is a library, but as I say, I don't really know much about Gothenburg, so don't take my word for it. Saluhallen there is a market hall, fine kind of foods market hall. Just about to go over the water. This is the moat, Valgraven, and the part of town that we've just left is known as Inom Valgraven, sort of within the moat, and we're now coming outside of the moat and coming to the avenue up there. Stora Teatern, the big theatre. Here on the avenue, a lot of restaurants and even Burger King. Over there, next door but one to Burger King, is the Hard Rock Cafe. Used to go in there as well to watch football sometimes. Next to it is another bar. It's now called Farrelly's or something. Used to go in there as well, but it wasn't. I think it was called something else, and that I can't remember. But Hard Rock, I've been in loads of times watching the football. It was really, I suppose, before there was much football to be streamed, so you had to go to a pub to watch football of an evening. John Scott's pub, which is actually shouting, advertising, watch the football at John Scott's. I've never been in, so I couldn't tell you about that. But yeah, the Avenue. At the end of the, or almost at the end of the avenue, I will turn off here to the left, just where that tram's coming from, and head down towards the Swedish Exhibition Centre and Göteborg Towers, which is the Swedish Exhibition Centre's hotel. And it's called Göteborg Towers because it's actually 3 high-rise towers on top of the exhibition centre. Almost next door to the exhibition centre and my hotel is Gothenburg's famous Tivoli theme amusement park, Liseberg, and that tower there that's behind the crane is Liseberg. I think they have one of those where you go up to the top of the tower and then sat in the seat and it free falls at some great speed. Not my cup of tea, but anyway, that's over there. But that's the direction we're headed. There you go, now you can see the Ferris wheel as well. It's a big park, this is only the entrance side here. There's all sorts of roller coasters and what have you in the park. I have been years and years ago, but it's not my cup of tea. And as I said, next door to the Liseberg Park is the Göteborg Towers and the Swedish Exhibition Centre, Svenska Mässan. And I think I will be sleeping in one of these here towers tonight. So I'm going to go and find my way in, check in, and check out my room. Anyway, that's it for part 1 of the walkabout. Part 2 will continue in the morning when I will be walking past Gothenburg's famous Ullevi Stadium, amongst other places.
The next morning.
It's a bit cold and windy, but I'm going to continue my my walking video. So let's go. Outside the hotel at the moment. That's where I was, up there on the 19th floor, and now I'm heading this way. As I mentioned in my vlog last week, I decided I would walk this direction back to the station, and I can show you the famous Ullevi Stadium, which I, for years and years before I came to Sweden, always thought was pronounced the Ullevi Stadium. So there you go, it's Ullevi. There's Liseberg, the theme park, Tivoli, what have you. Fun fair for all the... But we're going to go this way down towards the canal and walk along the waterway a little bit away from the traffic and noise. Yeah, so here is the canal, and there is a walk stroke cycleway along this canal, so I think that might be a little bit more pleasant than walking along the streets. The streets actually here in Gothenburg seem to be becoming much more pedestrian, or rather I should say much more public transport stroke cycle friendly. They're no more pedestrian friendly than they were before, really. It's a bit more of a nightmare. Before, you used to have the pavement and the road, and you knew when you stepped off the road that you had the pavement, and you had to, or rather stepped off the pavement, that you had the road and you needed to have your wits about you. But now there seems to be divided into so many sections, you're not really sure what you're standing on, which way you should be looking, and what might be coming. And I find it all a little bit daunting sometimes. And when we were driving in the car last night back, even Håkan, who lives in Gothenburg, wasn't sure which way to go and whether you could go up certain streets and what have you, because it's very much car unfriendly nowadays. So that's how it is. Modern cities are becoming more like that. Obviously there's a good public transport system here, so that's, you know, not an issue, but when you're walking around and you're unfamiliar, it does get a little bit daunting. But this, as I say, it's a cycle path, as you can see, and a footpath which I'm on. There's a small sports stadium there. That's Valhalla IP. But we come into the main Ullevi. Oh, it's so windy today. Come into the main Ullevi stadiums shortly. Here we are. This is the Ullevi Stadium. Many famous sporting happenings have happened there. It's also home for rock concerts of major stars in the music industry have played at Ullevi Stadium. Bruce Springsteen and the likes. But this is the famous Ullevi Stadium. It's really an athletic stadium, but Swedish football team used to play matches there before they built the Friends Arena in Stockholm. And as I'm walking around the Ullevi Stadium, I'm still walking along the canal. A little bit more sheltered behind the stadium here, but you can see maybe up there the flag's blowing very hard. It's a very strong westerly wind today, and blowing right in off the sea, and it's quite a nippy one. It's getting windier as I get into the open. I may have to stop talking and have some music over my images if it gets bad. That building over there, the tower, doesn't look very impressive from this far away, but I was told yesterday that is the tallest building in the Nordic countries. So I can't remember the name of it now, but somebody might know the name of it. But anyway, walk around the Ullevi Stadium. I'm going to carry on going down towards the old Ullevi Stadium, which is now the newer Ullevi Stadium, because the original old Ullevi they knocked down, built a new stadium there, and there was a lot of discussion as to what it would then be called, but it's still called the old Ullevi, even though it's the newest. No, let's not get run over by trams. I can hear the ding dong ding dong. Let's see where. These e-bike rentals seem to be quite popular. I've seen them all over the place here. There's a lot of these scooter rentals, electric scooters, I don't know what you call them. But, certainly in Stockholm you find them all over the place, just dumped here and dumped there. I think they've started to be more strict with them, where you can leave them, where they can be parked. Yeah. This is the courts. This building here, I think it was the police headquarters, and it's definitely the court. Gothenburg courts. And we come down here to the new old Ullevi. This is it, the old Ullevi, the new old Ullevi. It's a dedicated football stadium, a proper football stadium, no athletics track and what have you around it. And this is where the club teams play. Or most of the Gothenburg club teams, not all of them. There are a few teams here, but the most famous probably is IFK Gothenburg. This is where they play their home matches. It's one of the aforementioned scooters. Not as many here. I haven't seen as many here as you see in Stockholm. They're just everywhere in Stockholm. They are here. Here's another one, just left outside the stadium. Right, almost back at the central station. This big old building here is the old post house. It was turned into a big modern hotel a few years ago. We actually had a company function, a dinner a few years back, and yeah, it's a pretty fine place. Busy now, rush hour in the morning at the central station. This is at the side where I didn't come out last night. I came out on the other side, so you can see the old building here. Alright, that's it. I'm back at the central station. That's the end of my walkabout in Gothenburg. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one.